So tell me, how has life been since Blood Songs has come out? Is your Instagram verified?
Unfortunately, my Instagram is not verified yet. If you know somebody who knows someone, please give them a call on my behalf. But life is good. I'm happy that we're finally here, finally sharing this massive project, this huge, ambitious undertaking by really every artist that got involved with this. Finally, I'm just glad we're here now.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to see you on our screens. How many years? 3 years later? This thing was done pre-COVID. So it's really refreshing to see you on screen after such a long time. And I can imagine for you, it's so refreshing seeing all the stuff that you had done, the preparation, and to finally see it come to life. Must be so, I don't know, like exhilarating.
It is. And for me, it's been longer than 3 years because I've been a part of Blood Songs since pre-production, like when it still had a different name entirely and all that stuff. So, it's been a long journey, but it's exciting to finally be here because once upon a time, Blood Songs was such a huge dream, right? It scared a lot of people. It scared a lot of distributors. It scared a lot of funding bodies, but now it's a reality, and now it exists in the large pool of possibilities of things that, we can achieve, that Africans can achieve. So yeah, it's exhilarating.
We're going to jump right into it. And so the thing that I want to have the audience understand in just the broader South Africa as a whole is the tribes. It's the house tribes. I think we have established the Akachi. If you understand the Okawi, the Koloa, and the Krini, who are they and what is their relationship with the Akachi?
So, the world of Blood Songs is huge, and all these tribes are very special in terms of the cultural aspects of us as African people that we represent, but also the actual service that they and relationship that they have to the Akachi, who believe themselves to be the true heirs of Kemet, and they have kept all the relics and everything else. And the Uchawi are actually the spiritual advisors to the Akachi, and the Koloa are more like the hired mercenaries, right? The military arm to extension to the Akachi soldiers. And then the Krini for me, I would describe as a bunch of misfits that are lingering amongst us. They're hard to identify. There are a bunch of misfits that are lingering among us. They have different uses and different values and different, talents and skills. It's just that there's this one aspect of their life that makes them unworthy. So, they hurdle off away. So you could find somebody from a Nkuni tribe anyway. They could be secretly one of the king's consorts. They could, secretly be, one of Princess Zazi's friends, really. But I think, getting a bit more existential with it, I would say the purpose of the Krini in this world of Blood Songs is really to remind us that, we have to interface with our shadow. We can't just run away from it.
So let's talk about Princess Zazi, the character that you portray. Tell us, who is she? What does she do in the world that is Blood Songs? And for me, it seems she's carrying her people's destiny on her shoulders. That must be very heavy to take in. So describe to us who Princess Zazi is.
Princess Zazi is King Lecha's only daughter and the heir to the Akachi kingdom. Princess Zazi is, I would think, I would say she's part orphan because her mother, her mother passed away at birth and she'd never gotten to know her mother. And that's a longing that she's always had.
Yeah.
And her dad is troubled by the passing of her mother and her entry into the world and, the burden of the crown on him. And that has caused a huge divide and a resentment, a huge divide in their relationship. And he resents her, and as a result of his resentment, she resents him. And, yes, in the world of Blood Songs, there's a lot sitting on Zazi's shoulders, but the irony is she's aware of it, but doesn't know it because nobody will open up about who is she, who's the person who gave birth to her? Why, apart from the fact that she understands that she's revered, she's a princess, there's this dark looming cloud of secrecy around her, and it just absolutely drives her insane, and it makes her feel even more alienated that she's alone. But in the broader aspect of Blood Psalms, anybody who's been through episode 1 and episode 2 will have seen already, Princess Zazi is essentially the star child that brings forth the prophecy of doom to the 4 nations, which really asks me, I think she's not really bringing a prophecy of doom per se. The doom is being brought on by the people's own ills, them not seeing each other as equals. They're all descendants of Kemet, but they're, how their communities are structured and how they treat each other and all that stuff. But as highly superstitious, religious old nation, there's this belief among those that know that her birth and her coming of age is when the prophecy of doom shall come through. And as the story goes, Princess Zazi gets to learn this, and really her journey is to figure out if she's going to be what the world says she is, or she's going to win herself, which I think is a beautiful journey, because I feel like not only as young people, young women and young men, but also as a nation, not the nation of South Africa alone, but also as a nation of Africans.
Yeah.
This is the great question of our time, is it not? We know what history says we are. We know what the future predicts will be based on history, but who are we actually? And that question can only be answered by us determining ourselves, which is why, projects like Blood Psalms is such a brilliant, project, because literally how we create ourselves as human beings is from our thoughts and our minds, and the images that our thoughts create, then we can propagate ourselves into being that. And Blood Psalms is giving as an opportunity for us to have these images of our greatness that will inform our subconscious and our thoughts and our feelings and our actions, and then we become the greatness that we perceive.
That's a fantastic answer. Thank you so much for answering it in such an honest and humane way. Thank you for that. So episode 3 is spicy. It is revealed that you're pregnant, and you are pregnant with, is it Surgeon Doka? You'll give his title properly. And it seems like it's quite scandalous. Why is it a big deal? Why would you be in possible danger? And why would he be in danger if this is realized and if it's known by the rest of the kingdom?
Yeah. General Doka, that's his official title. He's a general,
Yes,
beloved army by my father, beloved. But why it's a big deal is, the ancient ways, right? And also just the way the ways of the ancient Akachi of Blood Psalms. The Akachi are an aristocratic society. There's levels to this thing. You're royal, then you're in the court, then you're, Right. So the way in which this, I don't even know if fictitious is the right term to use, but the way in which this fictitious form of rulership, that's based on sort of like a pseudo superiority. It really depends so much on the idea that a certain race of people is Puritan or is pure. And so it messes up everything. If the pure people can just mix up with the regular people, then that means that they're not that, special or pure, and everybody can just rule, and it just destroys the idea of the sanctity of the ones chosen by the gods to rule, which is why it's such a big deal. Not to mention, that General Tuka is not an Akachi. He is a Khulua. He's a member of the Khulua, and he worked his way, and the possibility of the next heir of the Akachi kingdom being pregnant with the Khulua baby or child is it's a mess, because the two tribes are going to fight over who rules the 4 territories. And historically, the Khulua already believe that they're the rightful heirs to the Akachi kingdom. So it's a mess, it's drama, but we're here for it.
Hi everyone, so as the entertainment world would have it, there's been a wardrobe and set change, and I'm back with Bokang looking better than ever. Bokang, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We're going to pick up from the last question, right? And the last question was, Uzazi stops the comet, right? That's really a near-death ending this big ball that almost ends the lives of her people. And we see this superpower that she has, and she literally becomes a goddess. So did the people of Akachi, Blood Psalms, did they know? And most importantly, did you as Princess Zazi know you possess that power?
The people of Akachi did not know. I mean, only a few know, a very few select who have connections to the Ochawe witches, who are like the ear of the king, who know things about the king. The people of Akashi had no idea. And also Princess Zazi herself, she has no idea. She just knew that she has always felt this connection to the moon, this pull, this draw to the moon,
Yeah.
And she's never been able to explain it, which is something that's really common in her life, because like really pivotal things, fundamental things about her life, she's never been able to explain, and they're always like a mystery, like the fact that what happened to her mother, a mystery nobody would share with her.
Yeah.
Her relationship with her father, are sort of this mysterious weird thing that nobody will explain, not him, why it's that way. So yes, a surprise to everyone.
So then at the end of episode 3, we see you and Buruti connect, and Buruti is of the Tsini tribe. And there's this instantaneous connection that you guys hardly speak, but you feel like you've known each other, you've seen each other before. Without divulging what happens in the future episodes, what kind of connection is this?
I think the connection that happens between Zazi and Buruti is some sort of ancestral spiritual connection, like the gift sees the gift, the special soul in the other's eyes sees the special soul in another's eyes. And that's why in the beginning, they're just really mesmerized with each other. They just can't explain it, but again, there's that magical draw to each other. So more to unfold, but their bond is really filled with twists and turns and special moments.
All right, so you had mentioned earlier on, right, that you had been part of the production since pre-production. And I'm curious to know about that first, and also secondly, how did you prepare for the role of Zazi?
I feel like I've had such a fortunate experience, with Blood Psalms, in the sense that not many actors get the chance to be involved in the writing room, in the in the construction of the characters, and the storylines and the arcs, and even name suggestions. Honestly, I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to get involved. Jamila and Nela involved me so early on, because it really, it really solidified like my connection with the princess, with the story, and with the world. And actors, that's what we need these days. It's rare if you get time for a rehearsal. But I feel like, granted, we were making something so ambitious and something so special, that it felt right to have Princess Zazi involved all the way from the inception of a kingdom, especially since she's also this, omniscience power of this world.
Yeah.
And that was also part of my preparation. That was the I want to call it the softer part of my preparation. The harder part is because I refer to it as the physical training.
Yes.
So I went into it because all the resources that were required were provided. Really, a personal trainer was provided, training for martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and a little bit of stunt choreography here and there was provided.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. And fun is really an understatement, but I'm so glad that the vision has always been there right from the beginning to make a story that was like, way bigger than what we already knew as possible. To do a training that's way bigger than what we already knew was possible. Expand the makeup department to way bigger. The production and design department to way bigger. I'm so glad that, Yellow won't follow through with the big vision.
So what does this series, what does it mean to you, and what has it meant to you since having been part of the journey?
It has meant so many things to me, because I have seen the story since the pitching days, when everybody was afraid of how much just money alone is needed, and just watching Leila and Jamil continuously overcome like limitations, to come out to create something that's so meaningful to the image of how Africans see themselves now and see themselves in the future, that has got the top caliber of people like in all sorts of levels of production working along with it. For me, really, it has been such a great lesson in showing me that like nothing is impossible. Everything is attainable as long as you believe, and it's fine to be bold, with your dream, with your vision. It's just for me as a filmmaker in general, it's expanded the scope of what I can do. It's opened doors with channels and distributors and stuff like that to open up their minds to like genres that are outside of the typical drama and all of that. So yeah, this is a good moment for us, for Africans, for South African TV filmmakers, and also the film practitioners. And yeah, I'm just glad. I'm happy to be a part.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us your incredible answers. Thank you for participating on Platforms. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing the rest of the episodes, what you are going to bring, what Princess Zazi is going to bring. And yeah, we look forward to it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Enjoy the show. It's streaming only on Showmax.
Challenge does not even describe the level of technical difficulty we had delivering this episode, but no vision will ever be stopped. And thank you so much to Bokang for being so gracious with her time, with all things considered. So please make sure you come back for future episodes as we speak to our amazing cast and crew here on The Record. See you next time. Make sure to comment, subscribe, like this page. See you next time. Cheers.